Thank you for joining us here today at TVG. I'm Kristen Macklingham, and we have Tina Camera, who is a Peace Corps volunteer with us. She's here to talk to us about an upcoming event called the Women's Enterprise Exposition, for which she's one of the directors. Hi Tina, welcome to TVG.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So, can you please tell me about the event that you guys have planned coming up?
Yeah, sure. Well, first and foremost, I do just want to say thank you for having me here. This event really does need as much publicity as it can get, so I really appreciate the opportunity. As far as When X goes, the event's called When X. It's which obviously you already said yourself, it stands for the Women's Enterprise Exposition. This event is scheduled for November 26th. It starts at 2 and ends at 7 p.m. and it's at the Hotel Tower poolside. And what the event is set out to do is create the link between women in small business and women's support groups. We really want to create a collective and cohesive effort between the two. And because this event is intended to target women of all generations, we've incorporated a youth development component as well. So with that, in order to reach these goals of the event's goals of empowering women and empowering youth, our booths are going to be able to display their products and services, systems of support, and be able to raise the knowledge and awareness that that the women of Guyana need.
Well, this is a very interesting event that's upcoming. Can you tell me what is scheduled on the day of the event?
Sure. The program of the event consists of a number of things. Essentially, a large portion of the event is geared towards allowing the different booths and vendors to be able to network themselves, to be able to market and mingle with each other. And by this, they'll be able to offer support and mentorship for interested participants, but also interested persons of the public. So that's a large segment of the event itself. Another part of the event is 30 minutes that's dedicated to our organizations and booths, where a video short will be premiered, where they're going to be able to discuss how they feel about empowering women and gender equality in Guyana, and what it is that their organization does. So we'll be able to get a really personable side of things from the organizations themselves. One of the last parts of the event is our panel discussion and our keynote speaker, who are all going to be talking about gender equality in Guyana. The discussion will be on gender equality in Guyana and the challenges and successes that accompany it.
So, who are some of the keynote speakers for this event?
Well, we actually have several of them who are going to be on a panel where a panel discussion is going to take place. One of our panelists is Minister Jennifer Webster, who is the Minister of Human Services and Social Security. We have Dr. Palomar Mohammed. She's the UG Dean of Faculty of the Department of Social Sciences. We also have Simona Brooms, who is the President of the Women's Minor Association. We have Valerie Lowe, who is a Member of Parliament and also affiliated with Alliance for Change. And lastly, we have Vanda Radzik, and she is the chairwoman of the Board of House Trust, and she's also a founding member of Red Thread, who is an organization that will also be present at the event and really carries the message that we're hoping for the event to expose.
A lot of time and resources have been put into making this event a success. Can you tell me how this event actually came about?
The event came about, it began with simply just discussion between me and two friends of mine who are now colleagues because of this event. Those two other people being President Clinton Erling, who's the president of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Kendra Barutsky, who is the coordinator of the Women's Entrepreneurship Network. As a feminist, which simply means that I believe in equality for women, and with my association to the women's organizations and women's groups in Guyana, we wanted to tie in all of our background, skills, and knowledge to create something that really targeted women and empowering women. President Clinton Erling stresses the importance of Millennium Development Goal number 3, which is to promote gender equality and empower women. So that served as the base and the premise for the entire event itself.
In terms of Millennium Development Goal number 3, how close are we as a nation to achieving this?
It's hard to say how close Guyana is to achieving gender equality for all and empowering women. I think that most nations are far from gender equality, if any at all. But as far as empowering women goes, it's events like this and organizations such as Red Thread or Help and Shelter or the Women's Minor Association, these types of events that we are hoping to elevate and empower for the purpose of generally empowering women as a whole.
Is there any particular reason why it's on November 26th? Any particular purpose that this date serves?
With the prominence and issue of gender-based violence in Guyana, we strategically set the Women's Enterprise Exposition for November 26th because it falls one day subsequent to the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. With the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, coordinating partners from the Ministry of Health, Help and Shelter, the Guyana Business Coalition on HIV/AIDS, everyone's coming together to host a candlelight vigil. This vigil is going to take place on, like I said, November 25th at 5 p.m., and the location is at the Square of the Revolution.
All right. These are efforts in Georgetown. Are there any other efforts ongoing or that we can expect within other regions?
Yeah, and actually with our effort in Georgetown, Essequibo is also hosting their own candlelight. With their candlelight, they're also going to be having a walk that is going to take place. Their walk starts at 4 p.m. and it begins at Queenstown and is going to carry out over to Imam Bacchus, where the candlelight vigil will take place.
As it relates to funding for such events and activities, is it from fundraising activities that you get the resources to carry out these, or do companies, businesses contribute generously? Can you tell me?
With Clinton Erling being the president of the Chamber of Commerce, we've utilized that organization, that membership alliance, as a tool for us to be able to make this event a success. So with the members, we have a number of sponsors, a number of donors that have ranged from large sums to physical kind donations, and it's just been really moving to see how much people are willing to contribute to such a good cause.
I'm sure a lot of persons out there, especially women, will be interested in this event. But if they want to find out more about your organization or such events, how can they?
Yeah, you could just search the Women's Enterprise Exposition on Google, Women's Enterprise Exposition, and our Facebook page will come up as the first search. We're also working on a web page to be utilized as a referral system, a directory for these women in small businesses, for these youth groups, and for these women's support groups. Because once the event is complete, once the event finishes, we want to have something that's sustainable as a resource for people to continue to use. So our Facebook page and the web page are gonna be used as that.
I don't know if you can say at this point, but do you know if your organization is planning on taking this exposition throughout Guyana, different locations, different areas, once it comes up successfully?
It's hard to say if the collaboration between GCCI and the Women's Entrepreneurship Network are going to come together again to disperse the effort to other regions. But this event in itself, with the capacity for people to be able to network and market and offer support and mentorship, we're just hoping that this is going to stimulate more people to get involved and more people to create events that are similar to this, and continue to use each other as resources and use the webpage as a resource.
Well, I truly hope everything goes well with you guys and it comes off as a complete success. Thank you for joining us here today, Tina.
Thank you so much.
And thank you all for staying with us.